Divine One, we discovered this mysterious bracelet in southern Firene.
Oh.
There appear to be more of them enshrined on the islands off the coast. We should investigate.
There's an emblem inside this bracelet, all right. The presence inside is complicated. But I think I have the invocation. Lead us, Emblem of Rivals!
Rivals? Oh my goodness. Oh, they just did the pose. The 3 houses pose.
Finally, we're free. I am Emblem Edelgard.
Hey, it's them.
Pleased to meet you. I am Emblem Dimitri.
I guess that
Dimitri
makes me
from
Emblem
Harshard.
Claude. Hi there.
That must have been a crowded bracelet. Sorry, I should introduce myself. I'm the Divine Dragon. You're obviously not from Elios. May I ask what you're doing here?
Until recently, we were the guardians of another world. It seems we were moved somehow.
I get the feeling you've come to give me some sort of test.
No need for that. You were able to summon us. That is enough. And your timing is excellent. We were just growing weary of each other's conversation.
Speak for yourself. I thought Dimitri's stories were getting better with every telling.
Yes, the sarcastic interruptions kept increasing too. Coincidence, I'm sure.
You three all seem to be really comfortable with each other.
Appearances can be deceiving.
Really, Edelgard?
She's kidding. You can tell because her face looks exactly the same as when she's serious.
We have always been in competition. It will be refreshing to join forces.
I should explain. We were all students at the Officers' Academy, but we led different houses.
That's what you
Spoilers.
meant by competition.
Yes. We only truly came together for special events, like the Battle of the Eagle and Lion.
Spoilers!
A traditional mock battle between the houses, to celebrate one another's strengths.
The real celebration was afterward. Our festivities got rather exuberant that night.
Dimitri looks pretty straight-laced, but don't let him fool you. Between you and me, he's like a force of destruction at a party. I'm surprised they didn't expel his whole house for those shenanigans.
Must have been quite a night.
You only just met him, so you can't tell if he's joking. Just ignore half of everything he says.
Come on, be fair. At least a third of what I say is worth hearing.
You do know a third is less than half, right?
Okay.
I see we've gained some dependable allies.
Oh, it's Violet. He probably knows him. Well, he has to know
Professor,
him.
you're here as well? Now I truly feel motivated. What an honor it will be to fight by your side.
If you're that honored, I'll have to make sure I'm at my best.
This little reunion reminds me of the day we first met the professor.
You mean that night our camp was attacked by bandits?
God, this is some spoilers. I was
right.
gonna play 3 houses
Only now,
after this.
Claude won't be able to make any strategic retreats.
I guess we are sort of stuck together now, aren't we? I hate to say it, but we'll need to learn to get along better if we're fighting on the same side.
Yes, you will.
True.
Sounds pissed
None
off.
of us can do all that we must on our own. But together, as part of this army, I think defeat is inconceivable. Maybe I sound arrogant, but I'm that confident in the skills our professor has taught us. Wouldn't you agree, my teacher?
Of course. I am proud of you all. This time, let us fight together to the end.
Let me say
Some
it
cute
forward.
fan service.
Our power is at your disposal. Please make the most of it.
Victory will be ours. Have no fear. We are here to help.
And if these two and their conventional tactics fail, maybe I'll show you a few tricks.
That's all very reassuring. Thank you. I'll do my best to help the three of you work together.
Emblem Eldegard switches off with fellow house leaders Dimitri and Claude at random, providing access to a broad range of abilities. The sync skill Gambit changes based on which of the three house leaders is currently active. The engaged weapon Amir can smash foes and deal bonus damage to dragons. The engaged skill Combat Arts provides provides access to one of the three different attacks at a cost of the unit's remaining engaged turns. The engaged attack Houses Unite strikes with a axe, lance, and bow, increases the chance of breaking an enemy. It is effective against flyers. Divine Paralogs. You can travel to the Emblem Bracelet Islands from the world map. You can return to the main story at kind of like. Oh, guys, I think the tide of my I was immediately gonna do a review after this game, after this portion, but we're not done yet. At least not with this DLC. We should probably go then. Which means my slight suspicion at the start of this mini-series, this post-game series, about the fact that we'll talk. Oh. World map Divine Paralogs. You can use the world map to return to the Somnior or the main world map of the main story. Skirmishes may also appear on the maps that you've already completed. Dragon Temple. Hello everyone, Angel Ram from the future, from the very far future from when this video is, or when the gameplay is recorded. So this is gonna be a different type of video for the final Fire Emblem Engage episode. For a few different reasons. For one, this is just as you have watched so far. This is mostly a bunch of paralogs that show how to get to the. This is a bunch of paralogs that allow you to get each emblem bracelet. So here we are in the new world map, as you can see in a bit. So we get all the new 7 bracelets, which is Tiki, Veronica, Thorin, Robin, and Rom, plus also the other two, I forget their names, and Hector. So yeah, I'm gonna be basically commentating over it instead of showing each paralog. I'm gonna be summing up each level, tell you guys the story and what happens in each, and a bunch of cool things that happen in the mix. Because, from being honest, some of these levels are kind of long, and also, not like it because for the series I just wanted to record main story stuff and the DLC story. So, and I never recorded any of the other paralogs, so I thought it wouldn't be as fair, even though it is kind of cool. Especially some parts actually have cool stuff. I just want to do it a bit of an experimental video. Just kind of commentating over the footage instead. So that's what I'm gonna do. So, first, first paralog is. Yup, it's Tiki. Alright, for each level I'm gonna explain what the level had in terms of the level like itself, like what we had to go through, the teams, plus some story stuff, if applicable. So I think I included Lucina's paralog, the very first one. in the actual main series, and that's basically what it is. Where each emblem will, in this case, you already have each emblem, and then in the main story, you have to have an emblem, the emblem to the paralog, so your max spawn can grow. Here, you have to play a paralog to unlock the emblem. And yeah, guess. Okay, so for this team here, we have Diamant, Tamara, Pogado, Bungshiron, Vander, Fram, me of course, and Saline. So that's somewhat of the same team we used throughout. There are going to be some swap-ins later on. For example, I usually don't choose Marth and Vander, paralogs or in general, after like the big whole thing of him being kind of weak came to vision. So yeah, the main reason I actually chose Vander is because I thought something would happen when you would fight Tiki and he had Marth, because you guys don't know, if you I haven't mentioned it in the video because I didn't include that part, but Marth actually knows Tiki because in Marth's paralog he mentions a bit of his life and how he knew a divine dragon named Tiki, which is what so I thought, oh, if I bring Marth along and I end up reaching Tiki with Vander, will there be a conversation? And well, unfortunately, as you can maybe see in this clip, he dies. So I think we don't know. So yeah. So in terms of like what happens in this level, it's kind of a strange one, or yeah, a little strange. So Tiki has set up 3 places around the area in which we have to, I think, step on in order for them to actually activate, so we can reach her via the gate. Like there's like 3 areas that we go to, or 2 or 3, and once we get there, I think we step on it, or yeah, step on like a panel, and it unlocks the gates in which we can reach Tiki from. But very common enemies, it's nothing new. It is very icy, so there's a lot of ice spaces that we obviously see here. So far, not that many casualties. I think Vander was one of the main ones. So yeah, that level was, at least compared to what other levels happen, not so bad. But yeah, I couldn't get the conversation. And fun fact, that actually does happen. Not with this character, but not with this paralog, but in future paralogs. So the common thing is that if you fight the emblem with a character that they know, there will be like Tiki rewards you for doing good and defeating her, and you know that's pretty cool. It's very similar in the dialogue structure as any of the other paralogs. But yeah, long story short, afterwards, if you have a Marth, I'm assuming this only happens if you have obtained the emblem. If you already have the emblem, then this conversation will happen. If not, I don't know. I think that's what that means, at least. So I pretty much kind of knew the majority of, like, oh, this character knows this one from not only the paralogs in this game, but just from the mobile game. But yeah, that's what happens with Tiki. So we get Tiki, and she has similar powers as we have seen in the Xenologue, where she can give someone a revive stone. The user who engages with Tiki becomes a divine dragon, which is pretty neat. And a common trend that I do throughout these paralogs is that after, like, for example, the next paralog we do after this, I equip Tiki to me, and the paralog that I'm using Tiki in, I would swap out with the emblem that I get from that one. Also, forgot I just died. I just rewatching the clips. Forgot I just with him. But yeah, so that was Tiki's paralog. Fairly decent level. not too hard, too gimmicky stuff, and we almost lost a few more than we actually did end up losing. But yeah, not too bad. And after you get Tiki, she actually joins you on the rest of the paralogs in this area. So now we move on to the next emblem that I go after next, which is oh, Veronica, holy smokes. Emblem Veronica. I was very excited for this one. Obviously because I played the first Fire Emblem game was Fire Emblem Heroes, a mobile game. So I went after Veronica, not knowing that it was her at first, but then eventually found out very soon that it was her. So yeah, this is the level with Emblem Veronica. She's actually a lot more meaner here than she appeared in the. She acts more lore accurate here than she does in the mobile game, the Xenologue. It's like she acts a bit more lore accurate. But the thing is, how her design is, like a major story thing happens when she gets this design, where she almost becomes a better like a better person / character. So it's interesting that she's kind of still a bit evil. But yeah, so the story with Emblem Veronica is that since she basically in the original mobile game, you play as a character called the Summoner, which is basically like the main character, and you join forces with the people of that game, and basically Veronica becomes us in that game because she gains the main power, which we do, which is to summon characters from different worlds, which is a funny way of saying that she can do gotchas, but yeah, basically she doesn't agree at first because she wants to use us in her world, which is funny. So yeah, and she doesn't want to help us, but we eventually give in, or basically convince her to try to get to us, try to join us, I mean. And yeah, so this is another appearance of the Cannoner class, as we've seen through the end of the Xenologue, which we've seen multiple times in the Xenologue, but at the end of the Xenologue we unlock. In here, I equipped Tiki to try out some of her gimmicks, which is we basically turn to a Divine Dragon, which is funny because we are a Divine Dragon in story lore. So yeah. But in terms of who I select, I already decided to change the team a bit. So yeah, so this team is pretty much the exact same with me, Diamond, Fogado, Bram, Bonecheron, Tamara. But instead of Vander, I swap out Vander with Hortensia because Vander is not that great, and I was like doing it for the gimmick of hoping to get a conversation, and Vander died and kind of ruined that moment. So I switched him with Hortensia, which is better healer, and also Saline. So well, Saline's already on, but I also put Saline on. But yeah, it's basically the exact same team. I couldn't really think of anybody she might have a conversation with in terms of emblems. You could say Marth again because Marth does make a brief appearance in the story mode for some reason. But I don't think I don't think they even met in there, so there's really nobody I could have thought of. So it was just basically a normal level with no one in mind to attack. But yeah, so in similar way to the last level, there's this big island map, but that gets cut in half, and one side is half of your team, the other side is another half of your team, with the goals of getting to the other side and one character being on one panel, and another character being on another panel at the same time, so that way they can be a bridge that crosses to Veronica, which you can fight her there. Which is alright. Enemies are not so bad. It's a bit cramped here in some areas, but the cool thing about this fight, well, at least for me, because I played the mobile game, there's actually a remix version of one of the mobile game songs, and that was kind of fanboying out. I thought it was very cool. And it's actually one of my favorite tracks in that game to begin with. So the fact that that was the song that played, it was pretty cool. I'll probably play in the background of this segment here, so if you want to take a listen, lock in on the background. But yeah, that's basically the whole level. We had a lot of close calls, on at least on the right side of the team. But yeah, we eventually win. Veronica joins us, and I really wanted to use her for multiple levels, but I actually don't even use Veronica next because I end up using the trio, which we see at the beginning with Byleth. Which the conversation Byleth had with those three is basically the same sort of structure that is with every emblem reuniting with one of the bracelet characters. So that kind of thing is basically what it is. It's pretty sweet, pretty nice. Kind of short, but yeah. And obviously Veronica does do some gotcha stuff, which is pretty goofy. But yeah, level wasn't too hard. We got Veronica, which is very amazing. And yeah, on to it's Pim, Hector. On to level 3 with Emblem Hector is next. So Emblem Hector, his fight wasn't, or his map was actually pretty short, to be honest. There was some gimmicks. Let me explain the map first. I'm already getting into it. So the map wasn't that big, but there was this thing where like certain parts of the walls would shoot out poison, and you know that wouldn't be great. But it also hit enemies, which is pretty funny. Like all those purple, like little smoke balls in the walls shoot out of it. And I actually did change the team a little bit just because, again, of the conversation. Lynn, let me just spoil it. Lynn knows Hector, and I learned this from Lynn's paralogue and the mobile game. So, with that being said, I swapped out Fogata with Etier, because Etier had Lynn equipped there. So, team was me, Diamond, Ram, Nostron, Chimera, Hortensia, Etier, and Saley. So, yeah. Same team. All I do is replace Etier with, replace Fogata with Etier. And, yeah. Actually, fighting Hector wasn't that hard either. Fighting Veronica was kind of difficult. And Tiki wasn't that bad, but Hector was not that bad either. So yeah, the main gimmick of this level was the whole sprays. There was no weird thing to open anything. It was just get through and not get blasted by poison. Don't get laced, basically. In terms of the map. But yeah, the fight wasn't that bad. The level was actually kind of short. And again, we did get the conversation actually. Like, what I was trying to get with Marth and Tiki ended up doing here with Lynn and Hector. Actually, when we were engaged, they recognized each other, and it's very, very cool, very sweet. And they even have a conversation post game as well, so they talk twice. Post game, I think they mentioned it. My include that clip where I mentioned Elwood, and so does he, because Elwood is canonically Roy's dad, if you don't know. So I thought afterwards, maybe I should have brought Roy, maybe he might know Hector, because I guess Elwood, Lynn, and Hector used to hang out or something, and I thought, maybe Roy might know Lynn or something. I mean, Roy might know Hector, but I didn't know anything about that. I could have had Gold Mary as one as well, but alas, I forgot. But yeah, overall, it wasn't that hard. Hector, he's a cool guy. Oh, I forgot to mention abilities for Veronica, but I'll just mention Hector's real quick. He has a stance where he can't be broken. If you do like it's a special engagement. I think that's where it is. Let me read this thing again because so let me see here. He has high defense, so I was thought at first, oh maybe I could put him on. Oh yeah. So one of his moves, let me reread it. The Sing skill quick reposit lets counterattacks follow up while the unit's HP is above certain. So yeah. He's very tanky unit to tanky emblem if he's engaged. Yeah, his main thing is that I think you can't be broken if you have that thing on, his special engagement. He's just a very good deep. Like if you have him, like I guess for me, like the least tankiest member I've ever had is probably like Etier. If Etier had him, she might be very good in health. And yeah, it says right here, Storm's Eye prevents foes from following up or inflicting the break status. They can't follow up or they can't break him if you have the engaged skill activated, which is pretty good. I think the unfortunate thing is that the next Emblem fight I couldn't really use that very much because, well, let me just explain that now because this next fight was actually pretty tedious. The Emblem character was cool, but the next one was kind of, like, it's just the fight as a whole was kind of a little hard to get through. So the next one was this room. I think she's her face, which means she might know Corin. That is right, guys. The next one was Emblem Camilla. Emblem Camilla, first of all, let me just explain the team just off rip, because I'm on that in the VOD here. I swap out, or no, I don't swap anybody out, because we actually get 2 more members. The first one we had 8, now we get 10. So what I'm doing is here's the team. I equip Hector on, Diamond, Fram, Bone Chiron, Tamara, Hortensia, Fogato, Gold Mary now, Mavier, right? I forgot about him. Mavier. So yeah, Mavier gets added on with Gold Mary and also Saline. So yeah, that's the team. I just replaced Etier with Fogato again and then put Mavier and Gold Mary on. And the goal here was to get Diamond to fight Camilla, because Camilla is from the same game as Corin. So the goal was to get them to clash, which I think that ends up happening, which is pretty neat. Obviously they talk post-game, sweet. I guess they're sisters or something? I'm not really sure. But yeah, so this is probably the most kind of BS-y level. Not just in terms of the paralogs from this section of the game, from the DLC here, but just in general. Like, this is because it was like such a maze, and I didn't have any flyers. And the only flyer I had was Hortensia, and she's a healer, and we needed the healer. It actually was kind of tedious almost at the end, which we almost lost, because what ended up happening was that Hortensia and Saline ended up having to like keep on healing each other in order to stay alive, and they had to split off from the group because I used Saline's move Warp Ragnarok, and I end up having to go save her because of she got nuked. And the worst part was that ended up Saline and Hortensia both died. And the thing with this map is that it was such a big map, and you have to go like really zigzaggy. You have to go like straight down, straight up, left, down, right, something like that. Like, it was pretty confusing, and I think it was one of the longest fights I've done. And at least in terms of these, the enemies weren't that bad. There was a lot of enemies as well, but again, the map was just kind of tedious, and everybody was so cramped. together, even more so than the last one with, or not the last one, but the one with Veronica. So, yeah. It wasn't that hard, it was just kind of hard. Yeah, it actually was hard. I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah. Also another thing bad about this one was I didn't really get to utilize Hector. I think I only ended up using him once. I engaged with him, but I didn't think I used anything. So after reviewing Camilla's moves, they're very similar to Corrin. So much so, in fact, that I think I do end up doing it, that I swapped Corrin for Camilla with Daimon, because they're very much similar in terms of what they can do. So they can both manipulate the terrain, and they both have a special move that does that, except I guess Camilla's is better. So again, Camilla has Dragon Vein, so she can do that. She does have a magic weapon, which is similar to the Levin sword that I think I have on sailing right now. She has a skill that boosts movement, allows units to fly, or yells the units to fly. So that's a perk more than Corrin, I suppose. And her engage skill is actually pretty good because it's sort of good because it hits a lot of enemies in a very big range, similar to Corrin, but it's like 10 times better. But the thing is, it does it in like a checkered pattern kind of thing, so it have to be kind of precise where you put it, and it does pretty good damage because that's the move that actually killed Saline and Hortensia earlier. So yeah, it's very similar to Corrin, so that's why I swapped the two at the end with Daimon. So Daimon, I put Hela on the next one, so that way I wanted to see, because they were so similar, just figured that, if I swapped the two, it wouldn't be that big of a difference. But that's that one. It's honestly not my favorite level. Camilla's a cool character, but that level was pretty annoying. But on to the next bracelet, which is a 2-in-1 pack with, I think Prom is the same game as Lucina. So it's Google Chrome, guys. I'll have Google Chrome with this.
Awake at last.
Robin! Google Chrome and Emblem Robin. Both two characters from Super Smash Bros. It was actually a surprise to me because I didn't know that. I didn't see it at all during the Xenolog story that Robin was there. All we saw was Chrom. So when Robin showed up out of nowhere, I was pretty surprised, pretty confused. Like, there's two emblems in here? That's pretty crazy. But yeah. So the next one is Emblem Chrom and Emblem Robin from Awakening, I think. Fire Emblem Awakening. And the character that they actually know from our team is Lucina. I think they even mentioned it. I don't know. I forgot how I knew it. I just knew it. But yeah, they just know Lucina. So for this level, huge voice crack. This level actually wasn't too bad in terms of the map size, in terms of what we had to do in order to reach them. I think the actual problem was towards the end. There was a lot of enemies that were showing up, and it was kind of getting in the way. So yeah, that was the only bad part. Like, it wasn't that hard. This is like the third paralogue from the DLC that has us go to a spot and destroy something or step on something in order to unlock it. In this case, it was 3 shards you had to break at the same time. So that was the gimmicky part in order to reach Robin and Chrom. In terms of teams and whatnot, I think it's pretty similar of what we choose. In fact, I don't think I make a single yeah, I don't. So the team consists of Daimon, me, Bram, Bonestron, Mara, Gato. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Goldberry, Hortensia, Mavier, and Saline. So again, it's the same team because I already have Lucina on the last team. So I don't think you even mentioned the team from last team, but it's basically the same thing. So yeah. Same team. Again, we have to destroy a shard, all three at once. Because of Mavier's great range with Sigurd equipped, I have Sigurd Dua, Goldberry, and I think Saline with Warp Ragnarok. So because those two like really far away, so we had Mavier and Saline could go pretty far. Had them two, and Goldberry, who's like the weakest one out of the group, has stay and do the last shard in the middle, as you can see here. And again, I decided to put on Diamond and with Camila. And this is where I get my opportunity to finally use Veronica, which is very exciting for me because I wanted to use her. Now the funny thing is that doesn't show it, we didn't see it all during the Xenologue, is that actually the special animation when summoning a hero through the gacha via Veronica. I'll just let it play out because it's pretty funny. You can even hear my reaction kind of glazing. I've had enough of waiting.
Emblem Engage!
Oh, wow, we can actually... what do we need? So let's just put colorless, let's just try it out.
Come to my aid, hero.
Gotcha. Oh my god, that's cool. The freaking... Yeah, that's sick. That's so cool. And the cool thing about that is we can actually control the enemy as well that we summon. And I'm curious if in the... Oh wait, never mind, spoilers. But yeah, the fight wasn't that bad. Again, it's just a gimmicky thing. Towards the end we got some fights in. And we also did get Lucina to fight both Chrom and Robin. So we did get a special interaction. And obviously post-fight. The post-fight reunion is actually pretty cute, so... Yeah. The fight wasn't so bad. And Robin actually, their emblem stuff is pretty unique in terms of what you can do with them equipped. See if I can pull it up correctly. Yeah, so another thing is that you always get a guaranteed follow-up or a guaranteed assist. So if you actually, since there's two characters, Chrom is the one you're engaged with and Robin's like a support. So you can always have a assist, and I guess they have it a move where enemies can't counterattack unless if the unit is in a certain terrain, which is pretty interesting. And they actually have an engaged weapon Levin sword, which is pretty interesting because you couldn't get that weapon normally. It's just throughout the game. But yeah, and in terms of what their special move is, it's just a big damage thing, so just a typical move. But yeah, that's basically that paralogue. Pretty cute with the Lucina reunion. Wasn't that hard. And yeah, it was pretty cool. But moving on to the next one, which ends up being... I'm not very familiar with this guy. I've seen him in mobile games, but I don't know much. Like what game he's from or from what. Emblem Sorin, which is our final emblem of the DLC Emblem Bracelets. So Emblem Sorin is the guy I didn't know actually who he was before the fight, and even in the Xenologue I didn't know who he was. I think I had vaguely seen him, but I didn't know completely about him. But yeah, this was a very interesting fight because apparently it was a lot of enemies that we got a notification that, oh, animation can be swapped or something, similar to how it was in the Xenologue. But yeah, you fight on a volcano because the story with Soren is that he really does not want to help us, similar to Veronica, but kind of worse. But yeah, so we're proving ourselves to him, and yeah, that's basically what it is. And there's these craters all over the battlefield that you get nuked from. So I actually do pretty like high damage. I think I got hit by a few towards the end. And there's smoke that appears throughout, which I didn't really see an issue with at all. And this like fight was kind of long anyway, so I didn't really see it. All right, yeah. So the units we pick are me with Emblem Crom, Diamond with Camila, Fram Bone Sharon, Tamara Fogato, Mavier Hortensia, Goldberry, Veil. I forgot I put Veil on. And this kind of obscure pig, which is Nell from the DLC. Because you guys remember, we unlocked Nell, Rafal, and the other 3 hounds. But yeah, I chose them, and Saline. So, yeah, that's who the final team was. And it wasn't that bad in terms of difficulty. I actually thought it was actually kind of like easier than like the last 2 we did. So, but Soren was actually not that great to deal with. It's actually pretty difficult, and I think he kills one of my emblems, one of my characters. A few characters get pretty badly injured. It was kind of difficult. And the thing I actually didn't know going into it was that Soren is actually friends with Ike. I didn't know that. And I accidentally, or not accidentally, or yeah, accidentally, because intentionally, sorry, that's the right word, intentionally made Bonchiron fight Soren, who had Icon, and when they fought, they had a conversation, I think, so that was interesting. I did not know that going into it. I didn't even know where Soren was from, and obviously that a post-game conversation is pretty neat. But it kind of made me think, like, oh, does Soren know Micaiah? Because technically Micaiah fought Ike, if we go back to that paralogue, they fought each other. So maybe did Micaiah know? So kind of the same situation where Hector might have known Roy. It could have been like Veronica. Micaiah might have known Soren. So that would have been interesting. So Soren's just a pretty kind of jerk, honestly. As we play against him and the conversation beforehand. But yeah, that was kind of the whole fight. In terms of power stuff though, if I recall, Soren doesn't actually have that much. Let me pull up Quad again. He's just a big damage dealer, from what I know. Let me read off one of his skills. The second skill, Assign Decoy, makes a designated ally more likely to be targeted by foes. So yeah, you can make someone. So I guess it would be a good combo with if we had someone with Hector on equipped and him being extremely tanky and all. Then we can use somebody who's equipped with Soren. Be like, who make him the target, you know. Which is, I guess that's pretty decent. Nothing crazy. And he has a weapon that has a very extreme long range, so that's cool. Let me read off into the skill here. The Engage skill, Flare, lowers a unit's resistance, or a foe's resistance, and heals the unit when attacking with tombs. So that's kind of specific, you know. Like, you have to have I guess, like somebody with like Citrine or Saline, or Hortensia or Ivy. And then his big move, Cataclysm, just does damage with fire, thunder, and wind. So yeah. Now, my friend did stream Fire Emblem Engage to me in like a Discord call once. And he said that if you put on Soren with, I think it's Veil, there's like a glitch that gets them to have like a 99% crit rate. Which I don't know how, if he was like, because he had mods on too, so I don't know if that was real or not. But yeah, that's pretty funny. Uh, if true, maybe in the, well, I'm about to explain something else, but yeah. So overall, the sword wasn't that hard. I think there was harder ones, like Camilla's fight, or maybe another one. I can't think of the top of my head. I just don't think it was that bad. We actually ended up trying Camilla's engage skill on him, which kind of made me realize it wasn't that great. Um, I think Torrential Roar for Corrin might have been better, but whatever. It's in the past now. But yeah, Soren wasn't so bad. And that's basically the whole Paralog side quest that I did, where we got all the bracelets. Now let me send it back to past me, where I just went do the outro and tell you guys about something else that I'm gonna do. This is pretty dated now, but yeah, yeah. So we have everything now. We have all the emblems, all 12, 13 and counting Ephraim, and all 7, 10 including Dimitri, Claude, that's 9. Robin, that's 10. Yeah. You have everyone. You have everyone in the game. Every unit, everything. We are technically done with this game series till I play another game. Or are we? You see, guys. We're not done here. At least me personally. Just doing these paralogs isn't enough for me. I want to use them more in combat. So, once I post this episode, which will be the last episode of this DLC stuff, I will be streaming the final battle again. But after we do some experimenting on stream, just so we can further test it out and see if we can get a better run, or maybe do a new run and do this all again. But in terms of YouTube videos, I say for Fire Emblem Engage permanently, probably. So I will see you guys in the next series or on stream. I have a new stream game I'm going to play. It's called MiSide. You guys probably have heard of it. It's years old. So I'll be playing MiSide throughout the week, as well as playing Engage on stream. Both games on stream while posting these DLC videos. But yeah, that's finally it for Fire Emblem Engage, and I will see you guys on stream, hopefully. Goodbye.